What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I got a question from a friend of mine who was talking about his girlfriend and his girlfriend kind of exhibiting some controlling behaviors, right? And so I wanted to kind of address this and talk about what you should do if you're dating a girl, girlfriend, wife, whatever it is, if she threatens to leave. Okay, and why this is just not acceptable at all. So, the basic circumstances of the situation is that this friend of mine, he has a relative of his that is not the best of character, sort of a con man kind of person who frequents hookers and all kinds of stuff that's just not very good business. All right, and so I guess the girlfriend knows about this, and she's basically forbid him from seeing this relative of his. Now, what she said to him is she said to him, if you do this, if you see this guy, I'm going to leave. All right. And this is just, it's not acceptable. Okay. Because, and this puts you in a very difficult situation, right? This puts him in a very difficult situation because as a man, he may actually agree with her. He may actually say, you know what? I probably shouldn't hang around this guy. He's a bad influence. I don't want to hang around a person like this. However, now that she's giving him that ultimatum and she's made it where I forbid you from doing this, he sort of now has to push back on that because he cannot just accept that. He cannot say, you are going to threaten to leave me, or you're going to say I forbid you from doing this, and then I'm going to do it, right? He at this point has to now actually go and see this relative, and maybe he can stop seeing him in the future, but he cannot allow that to pass, right? And this is, again, like I said, a difficult situation because as a man, you have to understand that you cannot be controlled by a woman. She cannot make the choices for your life and tell you what you're going to do. You need to be the leader of the relationship. You need to be the captain of the ship. So how do you handle this situation? Well, first of all, ultimatums on both parts need to be an agreement that it doesn't happen in the relationship. So what do I mean by this? I mean, you need to have the conversation with your girl and say, look, here's the thing. All right. Relationships are built on trust. All right. You cannot trust a person if they threaten to leave you. All right. Threatening someone is manipulation. It is controlling behavior. And it's not something that I accept. I won't be manipulated or controlled by someone in my life. Right. If you don't want to be here, if you don't want to be in this relationship, it's your choice. It's at will, and you can leave this relationship at any time. That's your choice. However, if you want me to trust you, then I have to trust that as long as you're saying that you're committed, that you are committed, and that you're willing to work through things in the relationship and not just abandon it or not just try to use the abandonment of the relationship in order to get your way, right? And so that's a conversation that needs to take place, and it goes both ways, right? You should never, ever threaten, right? In fact, just as a man, I'll just tell you, one of the weakest things that you can possibly do is to threaten in any way, right? Don't threaten, instead just take action, right? And so, again, if this girlfriend was saying, hey, you know what? You've done some of these things. I don't appreciate these things. I don't like this kind of behavior. This isn't the kind of man that I'm looking for. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who does those things, and for this reason I'm out, or for this reason I'm gonna leave, or for this reason I'm gonna leave for now. I think we need to spend some time apart, and this is what I would like to do. That's fine. That's acceptable. It's not a threat. It's an action. You're actually taking that action, right? It should not be a bluff. And if a woman says that to you, let her do it. Let her do it. Do not go back on what you said because she's saying those actions. Now, there are instances where you might be wrong and where you've done some things, in which case you can say, hey, you can acknowledge the things that you've done wrong. You can acknowledge things that you would like to change in your life, but it can never be out of force. It can never be out of this kind of threat that she's going to leave, right? And again, like I said, on the same thing, you cannot do that either. It's not a good thing, right? So how do you handle this particular situation, right? When she does say those things. So first of all, have the conversation, right? And say, and tell her, like, this is not acceptable. You need to have the captain of the ship conversation if you haven't already. I did a video where I talked about this on the previous channel, on the other channel, and then also on the Better Than Perfect podcast, we talked about this and the 6 rules for relationship. Okay, so watch that if you haven't seen that. But essentially, you need to let her know that you are going to be the leader of this relationship as the man, that you are going to be the captain of the ship, that she doesn't have to be on the ship if she doesn't want to be on the ship. However, if she's going to be in this relationship, you're going to be the one who is in charge, right? That's how it's going to go. You're going to take care of her. You're going to put her needs first, right? You are a good captain of the ship, etc., etc. I go into more details in the actual video, but that conversation has to happen. And then, in this particular case, obviously, you cannot do what she's asking, right? You have to go now and do the opposite of it. Now, in this case, if she has a concern with a particular relative, what I would suggest is just inviting her and saying, hey, you're welcome to come along when I hang out with this relative. I know you don't like him, whatever, but if you choose not to come along, that's your choice, but you can't choose for me, right? This way you're making it transparent. Hey, you see that, whenever I'm hanging out with this person, if you don't like them, you can see what's going on. Also, don't go to inappropriate places, right? Don't go to bars and nightclubs and, drinking, smoking, all that kind of stuff that's gonna put you in a compromised situation where she would be concerned, especially hanging out with someone of a lower moral character, right? So, but that's pretty much how you have to handle that. And then basically, if she says, okay, I'm going to leave if you do this, if you're ever threatened in a relationship, guys, you just have to let her go. You have to say, because essentially the conversation needs to go, if you threaten to leave this relationship, I will consider that a grievous violation of trust, and that ends the relationship, period. So threatening to leave the relationship is the same as ending the relationship, right? Because I don't want to be with someone who threatens to leave, right? Because I want to build something. I want to have trust. I don't want someone to manipulate or control me with those actions. So if you say that you're going to leave, you're gone. That's it, right? And so then if she does that, if she says, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going to leave if you do this, then you have to say, I love you. However, you're going to have to make your choice. If that's what you want to do, I can't stop you from doing that. And I wish you well. Take care, right? Let me help you pack, right? So that's again, that's going to be a shocking thing. And she may, call the bluff. It shouldn't be a bluff on your part, but she may then try and go forward with that. And maybe she does. And if she does and she actually leaves, you're learning how much she valued the relationship and how much she valued you. And that's an important lesson to learn. And I don't know. Probably, it might be in that kind of circumstance where she leaves and then she tries to come back. But hey, if she tries to come back after that, it's going to be your choice. Probably better to just, you already learned a lot about her, unless you really feel she's truly remorseful and is going to change, in which case now you can set the standards for the relationship the way they should have. Now you have the captain of the ship talk. Now you talk about, look, this is how things are going to be, and this is how it is. If you don't want this, that's fine. I'm not the guy for you. I wish you well. I'm not angry at you. I don't wish you any kind of harm. But however, I'm the man. I'm going to be the man, and this is how I run my life, and these are the standards I have for my life, and I want a woman that meets those standards, and that's very important to me. So maybe you're not the one, and I understand that, and that's fine. So that's kind of how you have to handle those situations. It's tough because you don't want to hurt her feelings. You maybe even empathize with her, and she might even have some good points about it. But the way that she handles the situation is very important. And the way that you respond is also very important, because it's more than just what's going on here. It's the actual dynamics of the relationship that's at stake here. So, it's hard. It's not easy to do. And there's a pretty good chance that a woman will walk in this case. But you have to understand, if she's doing this, then she is showing disrespect for you. She doesn't respect you as much as she should in this relationship. That she would make those threats against you, right? Again, if the tables were flipped, if you were threatening to leave a girl, that wouldn't be acceptable. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't engender trust. But no, however, let's say that the tables were turned and you had a girlfriend, and this isn't the case, but let's say that she was going out and partying or going to nightclubs and things like that, and you didn't like that, or hanging out with guys. What you would simply say is, I don't like that. And then you could have a conversation and saying that I don't want to be dating someone who's going to be doing these kind of things. It's not the kind of woman that I want to be with as a man. It's not the standard. It doesn't meet the standards that I have for myself and for the relationships that I'm in. No threats. Okay, she gets to make the choice. If she continues to do those things after you've said those things, then you end the relationship. Period. You don't make a threat to do it. You just do it. And that's how you need to handle things as a man. And sometimes that's a tough way to do things, but it has to be done that way. Otherwise, you lose respect for yourself. And if you don't have respect for yourself, a woman's not going to respect you either. So if you want some help with some of these things, I am going to be doing some relationship coaching. Shoot me an email, john@bulldogmindset.com, if you're interested in that. And in the meantime, if you haven't joined the Bulldog Mindset membership, click the link down below. There's a ton of content on all kinds of relationship and dating stuff, as well as mindset, masculinity, right? If you want to be that kind of man that a woman is going to respect, there's some work you need to do, honestly. So join us in the Bulldog Mindset membership, and I'll see you tomorrow.